Okay, we're on Daf Lamed Vav Amid Aleph. Yeah, about 10 lines down to 2 dots. We're going through the various takanis that were made by Rabbi Gamliel Hazaken. So we saw that you can't be mevatel outside of you can't be mevatel in a bezin in another place. You can't go ahead and he made a takana that you'd have to in a get you have to get all the names, and in addition you can't collect from the word nifsei yisaimim with out a shvua. And Rabbi Gamliel said he was talking that you can make a neder and accomplish that. And we said that the final one was Adam Chasum al Getim Tikkun Olam, Adam sign on Getim Tikkun Olam, and then finally Hill was Metakan Puspel. So we're up to the Adam Chasum al Getim Tikkun Olam. What's the Tikkun Olam? They might Tikkun Olam. When Adam have to sign on a get, there's a Tikkun Olam. Meaning you're going ahead and somehow you're making things better. You're avoiding a problem that that might occur. So it says the Gemara, why? Because the Raisa here, Adam sign on a get, it's the Raisa. It says by Yirmiyahu, the Chasav b'Sefer b'Chasam, and they wrote in the Sefer, and they wrote a star b'Chasam. They went ahead right and they signed it. So again, this is Divrei Kabbalah, but sometimes Divrei Kabbalah is like used like the Raisa. So how can you tell me if they tick on oilam, you see it has a free source, a previous source that Adam signed on a get. On a star. So I'm a rabbi leitzricha Ella put the word in Ella leitzricha Ella Rebbe Laza. We need only contrary. Laza lama edim mesira karti. We've seen this before. We saw that this earlier on in the Masechta that late Rebbe Laza the ksivus haget the goes on the lishma b'chasav law. Right. So therefore, you don't need edim signed at all, because what makes the krisis, what makes the get, is the edim mesira, edim who are viewing and seeing the get being given over. So why do they sign? Because you're worried. We saw Rashi quoted this Gemara that let's say the Eidim Mesira go overseas, and it's going to be difficult to go ahead and substantiate them. So therefore, to avoid that problem, if they take an oil, if the bar will come be ma'arer, we have Eidim signed on a get, and therefore once we have Eidim on a get, we have means of going ahead and corroborating whether it's true, either through the Eidim themselves or through a shtar that went through Bezdin, and it was authenticated with a handpick, and we go ahead and we'll compare the signatures. So in other words, once something's in print, we know that, wow, we have a way of substantiating it, rather than the Eidim Mesira who are not in print and they're not around, because that's the only game in town. So Elo Rebbe Laz, Doma Eidim Mesira Karti, Tekin Rabbana Eidim Chasima, as I just said, Mifnei Tikkun Olam. The Zimnin Demaisi Sadeh, right? Either the Eidim Mesira will die. Inami Zimnin the Oslin the Medina Sam, they'll go overseas, and you won't have Eidim present. So by signing on the star, what do? You have imprint names of Eidim, and therefore they could be go ahead and authenticated through various means. Again, as I said, either through Eidim themselves or other people testifying on the signatures, or authenticated through a star and Bezdin. Okay. Rabbi Yosef gives a different teretz. He suggests the following. He suggests, I feel a Tamil Reb Meir, even according to Reb Meir. Now, what Reb Meir holds Eidei Chasima Karti, so obviously that's Deoraisa. So what was the takana of Rabbi Gamliel Lefi Shitas Rabbi Meir? What was the takana? Says the Gemara, Sheyehei Eidim Mefarshin Shemoseyim Begitin, that Eidim should go ahead and say their names again. It's a very interesting having in this Gemara. If they tikkun olam, in other words, they wouldn't write their name. They would write Kidatanya. B'Rishoina initially, Hayakosef, they wrote the following: Ani Ploini Chasamti Eid. Right? Ani Ploini, I so and so, Chasamti Eid. That's all. But he didn't write his name. He wrote Ploini. Ploini is an Eid. In other words, and that's what they did initially. And if the person would come in Toiveya, right, they have Ksav Yoda Yotzim Makamacher, they'd have a similar ksav in another place, kasha v'mlav pasel. So v'amar v'gamliel hakana gedol eskinu shem farsh shem saying begitin, that all shtaris they wouldn't write. They'd have to write a proper name if they take an olam, because now it'll be much easier to go ahead and substantiate a proper name rather than in other words, all you had if you wrote Ani Pliny 8, all you had was the signature, right? And you'd have it. So good, you could substantiate the signature, but it would be really difficult to go ahead and find oh, whose signature it is. But once you give a name to it, right, then we can go ahead and say, oh, it's a name. It's more easier. People will be Maka. This is Avrami. This is Cheskel. This is Harry. Whatever it is, you'll recognize it better. That was the takana. So we have two pshatim. One, according to the Rabbi Gamliel's takana was late Rebbe Laza, the Edi Masira Karti, and therefore you don't have to sign. And if they take an oilam that the Edi Mishandaya go overseas, and even Rabbi Yosef suggesting, I'll be with you in a second, Rabbi Ranka, right? Even according to Rabbi Meir, who says Edi Chasima Karti, still there was a takana because he went ahead and fine-tuned the Chasima. He fine-tuned it. It wasn't enough to say I need plain aid, but you had to say a proper name. Yes. What helps the following is that there's a person who went ahead. I know somebody signed over here.
You know what we went.
I know us. You know the handwriting. That's what that was his takana. Well, you know what this? You wouldn't know this, but I used to do this in the girls' school. I write test long answers, and I used to have 100 students per grade. You know what it's like to sit and read through, write gibberish and everything. So I came up with this great idea. I went ahead. I gave girls numbers. You didn't have a name. You had a number. And then I would pass it around in two separate classes. I'd give the other class one class, the other class the other class. And I would say, okay. And I would say, and you're going to mark. And that you don't know who it is. Everyone knew who it was. They recognized the signatures just like that. It was a number. They recognized the signature. So in your mind, you're saying, what? If you have a signature, and not a name, but you recognize the handwriting, right? There's no name, a proper name. So that was enough. So the Takana Reb Gamliel, that still was problematic because you'd have to find someone who was in that class, right? You'd have to find someone who recognizes the signature. The Meilavat, that was his takana, to give a name. That's not a gain. You have a star over here. Who makes the creases? You need a signature. What's the signature? I so and so. That's it. That's it. Good. You have it. This is all the right. You don't have to. Again, you don't have to. You don't have to. Because all you gain is because without it, you're nothing. Here's what you're thinking. Here's your mindset. 1 second. I need a personal signature here. You don't. You just need an aid. You just need an aid. No. You assume you need the guy's name. That's your assumption. Again, because that's what we do today after the Takana Reb Gamliel. As long as I have a star, and I have people who witnessed this, I'm good. Late Red Meir, I'm good. This is all. They checked them out. Okay, Okay, again, I'm not convinced of this.
You don't have anyone signing. Same thing. Right? I'm still notice can't compare to Eidi Kedushin, it's the same thing. Just Eidi. You don't know it's
no, he said Eidi Chasima.
No, I understand, but there's no it's not that he's
let's Yehuda, what are you telling him that I didn't? Okay, so what does no 10 say? Right. Again, the identification is only because of the Balkan's Ma'ara. If not, you don't need it. To create a get, you need people signed. You don't have to know who they are.
Has also been gained by not putting any name.
You don't have a get. You don't have a get. If you have no names, you have no get. You have no get if you don't have a name. Again, they didn't require it. Okay, listen. This is taking up a lot of tape time. Let's go. Okay. Anyway, but anyway, so that's why he was metakein. He gained by that by putting the name down. That was taking the goyla. Right. Now, the Gemara ubesimone. I'm Rav Gamliel. Takana gedola eskinu she'emav shim shemasayim begitin b'fnei taken oilam. Ubesimone loy. This is really going to drive you crazy, Avrami Branka. Right. 1 second. Why do you need even to write the word? Why do you need any word? Why don't you just make a simon? You know, it's make a sign. Make a sign. Now you have a bigger problem, right? Rav Tzir Kavra. Rav, when he would go ahead, he would sign his name. He'd make a picture of a fish. Bismana said, "No, fish to a fish." No. Let's not go there. Let's not go there. Like you see in the back of a car. Okay, Rav. It was Taka after that. Anyway, Rav would go ahead, and he would sign a fish. Rav Chanina Tzir Charusa he would make a decal tree, he would make a palm tree. Rav Chisda, Samach, he would write Samach with Chisda. Rav Shaya, Ayin, he make an Ayin. So you see, you know, this is even less than what your problem was.
No, this I understand.
Okay, good, I'm glad. Says the Gemara, shiny Rabbanon, right? One more, and Rabbi Rav Huna Tzaya Makusa. He was Mitzaya. A Makusa is the V line of a ship, a ship's mast, the mast. So l'chayra, you see Simanim, you don't even need a name. So shiny Rabbanon the Beki and Siminayu. Everyone knows this Simanim, and therefore you don't have to write a name. So at some, in other words, good after a while they knew it, but at the beginning of the process, how they know it, right? How they know it says well, a bit diskay. Rashi says the shalos and shuvas, you know, it's the shalos and shuvas or the things that they would send out from Bezdin, they would write this in the bottom, and then you know that's the person signing it. Now Hill Hiskin principle. Hill must be talking to principle. Now the site of principle, guys, is the following. You're in a Shemitah year. In a Shemitah year, this Hashmata's karka, people have to go off the karka. There's also Hashmata's ksafim. They also that your loan is finished. It says lo yigois. You're not able to go ahead and claim the loan. You can't go ahead and claim the loan. So what would happen? It's coming near the year. People would stop lending money because they're going to lose. They're going to lose their. No one's going to pay them back. So they stopped. So Hill came up with a takana. What was Hill's takana? The takana called Puzbul. Says the Gemara. Tan Hasam. Puzbul ain't a mishabit. Right? A Puzbul is ain't a mishabit, meaning the chayv will not slip away. The chayv won't go away. This is one of the 10 things that Hill Zakin was metakin. One of the 10 things. Now, this is not Rabbi Gamliel Hazakin. This is right. This is Rabbi Hillel. So what was he metakin Hillel Hazakin? Shenimnu mil havazezai. So the people, they were refraining from lending to each other. V'avru al mashikasav b'Torah, and he was over on the pasuk. What does it say in the Torah? Listen to this pasuk. Hisham lecha pen yelach davar im levavcha b'lial. You'll have something in your mind. B'lial means literally evil. B'lial means it's a nutrikan. B'lial malchus shemayim. Lamar karvish nasa sheva nasa shmita. The 7th year is coming close. V'roa ein cha be'achicha ha'evyoin le'sitein loy v'karlecha el Hashem v'hayu b'chachet. What's going to happen? If you call out to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's going to be a chait that you didn't give him money. So it's a really terrible thing. You know, when you think of a halva, you think of, okay, so you weren't such a nice guy. We're talking about you're supporting an ani. We're talking about, not tzedakah. Giving a guy a chance. The biggest tzedakah is giving a guy a chance to start up his own business, right? So l'chayra, that's going to stop. So Hill saw that it was stopping, and people were being going over this issa. Amad v'hiskin principle. He went and he was attacking principle. V'zaha yikufishal principle. This is the text of the principle. Masrani lachem ploini dayanim shebamakim ploini. Right? Shekol chayv sheyesh li etzel ploini. Any chayv that there is to me etzel ploini she'agvena that I'll collect it. Kol zman sheyirtza. V'dayanim chays min lamata oya edim. And the dayanim they would sign either above the edim or the lashon of the edim we saw earlier above the dayanim. Okay, that's the mechanics of the puzbul. Let's see Rashi. Let's see the Gemara. How can Hill be oika dov minatari, guys? You have over here a din that shvius mishamid. Hill says, okay, puzbul, babam. No, I'm a buy b'shvius b'zmanazeh for Rabbi. It's shvius b'zmanazeh and Rabbi. In other words, there's a machlokes where the shvius b'zmanazeh is the rabbanon deraisa. Shvius b'zmanazeh the rabbanon deraisa. Loit the din that it's the rabbanon, right? Then a puzbul would help. Loit the din the rabbanon, a puzbul will help. Let's see Rashi. So Masrani lachem, right? Es shtarasi, I give over to you my shtaros. Sha'atem to you noikshim, that you Bezdin will be the claimers. Vaniloi agos, but I will not. Again, as Rashi is pointing out, what's the isser, guys? The isser of Shmata lo yigos. So you'll be I won't be, but you will be. Well, Kamamuki the yesh koich biyad mafkia memoyne shal zeh. Bezdin has the capacity to take money away from one. And give to the other. So Rashi is telling you the dynamics. How does it work? It works. We're going to see machlokes in the Gemara with either through Hefker Bezdin Hefker or Sheval Taisa. We're going to see it machlokes in the Gemara. So Bezdin, if it was the Raisa, not, but the Rabbanon, yes. Rashi seems to say you give over your shtar to Bezdin. And the Hiskin Hillel made a takana. Oh, so you have an idea. Now, there's a Gemara, there's a Gemara here in Makkas. You learn Makkas enough, you have a few sons, you remember a Gemara from Makkas. The Gemara in Daf Gimel Amid Beis, it says, like a person could give if you give a halva for 10 years, Shmuel says, Amal l'chaver v'es shanim, Shvius is going to take it off. You can't claim it yet. It's for 10 years. So in the 7th year, you can't claim it yet. You got 3 more years. The Afagam the Hashta like Harin and Bay lo Yigois, even though now, right? Saif Asli de lo Yigois. And eventually it's going to come to lo Yigois. Okay, that's what he said. And the Gemara says that there is a way to go over here and Hamaval Mashkin was the best. And someone lends on a mashkin. So if you have a mashkin, you're not going to make the claim because you have the collateral in your rishus, and you're not going to, you have the security, guys. You have the lien, you have the prop, right? And now behind Moishe Shlei Rois of Lebezdin, and someone's Moishe Shlei Rois and Meshamitin. So if you give over your shtaros to Bezdin, it's not going to be Meshamit. It's not going to be Meshamit. Good, that's what it says. Another thing it says over here is the following: what a person says. I'm giving you a loan. In order that shvius should not be mishamet. The halacha is shvius is mishametes. And the shvius would take it off. Why? Because let's say Shmuel says, Masnal Mashakasa b'Torah, you're going against what the Torah says. The Torah says that shvius should be mishamet, and you're saying it's not mishamet. And the halacha is that tonight is batul u'maisa kayim. So let's do away with tonight that shvius is mishamet and it's mishamet. So it says no. It depends on the lashon used. If you say, I'm giving you a loan, almanas, that shvius cannot be mishamet, then it's mashna masakasha b'Torah. If I give it to you almanas that shvius should not be mishamet, then it's not. There's a difference. In other words, are you saying there's no din of shmita at all, or are you saying that shmita shouldn't work? And the answer is that shmita shouldn't work, and it works. So I just quoted you a Gemara. There are 2 other ways to avoid losing your money. Either by giving your shtaros to Bezdin, yes, or by making this condition. Developed. So what was the big takana of Hillel? I have other ways of avoiding the problem. Not that Pruzbul. Mashma that the only way that this was avoidable came up with Pruzbul, right? 1 second. Give your shtaros to Bezdin, you're good. Or make a condition that shvius should not be mishamet, right? Not that shvius is a mishamet, that it doesn't exist. That's the kasha. So I think it's a powerful question. So I saw 2 terutzim. One teretz they give over is not everyone's such an expert. Not everyone knows that b'shas ma'aseh you're going to go give shtaros to Bezdin. Maybe you don't have the shtaros. You don't have them. You're a malva. It's not available. You have to get it. It's the malva has to get it from the loiva. It's all. Maybe you didn't give it to you. No, it's difficult. It's difficult. Also, a person has tircha. Do I do an extra thing? Pruzbul seems to be that even if you don't write the pruzbul, as we're going to see in the Gemara, it's like it's written. Even all right. So that was the big takon of Hillel to take care of the Moshe Shtei Rosh of Lebezdin. What about the Tanai? Who knows? Make a Tanai. You're going to make it tonight? Maybe you'll forget the tonight. Who knows? So therefore, in other words, Pruzbul, it seems to be the teretz is the practicality of Pruzbul overrides. So it's not to say that there's not other ways to go ahead and avoid the problem of Hashmatis Ksafim, but Pruzbul was the practical way. That would be a very nice pshat of the Gemara. Okay, very nice. Says the Gemara. I like when I say very nice when I like it, right? You guys have to listen to it. I say very nice, right? No, I like it. If you know the Gemara, you know what it is. Sometimes I know a Gemara, and the Gemara. The Kash is really Rashi avoided the problem. Rashi holds Pruzbul is Moshe Shtei Rosh Lebezdin. Rashi said it over here, and he says it over there. Rashi avoided the problem because he holds Moshe Shtei Rosh Lebezdin is. Taisus disagrees with him, and Bitva, and many Rishonim disagree with Rashi. Anyway, the Pachas. So we fed the Gemara. How can Hillel come up with a takana to come override the man that's in the Torah? No, it's the Rabbanon. Shvius is manazeh. The Tanya Rabbi Yomer. V'zeh devar shmita shomit. B'shnei shmitas the kasam medaber. We're speaking about 2 shmitas. Echa shmitas karka v'echa shmitas ksafim. Okay, it says 2. V'zeh devar shmita shomit. Now, when we Shemitah Shamit, 2 Shemitahs. One, what? You have to stop working, slip away from the karka. And the other one is Shemitah's Ksafim. Bisman Shatim Mishamit Karka, Atim Mishamit Ksafim. Bisman Shiatim Mishamit Ksafim, Iatim Karka, Iatim Mishamit Ksafim. Okay, let's see Rashi over here. Let's see Rashi. Diva Masla B'Shvias Bisman Hazeh. Nice Rashi, guys. You say this to Rashi. B'Shvias Bisman Hazeh. The Hillel Kirebi Sphere, that's the Rabbanon. Even though Hill was lived during Bayesheni, and certainly when we before the Chorban, there was Shemitah, right? Guys, Chiddush Nifla. Right? Yovel is only noig when the Shvatim are all on their land. Only when the Shvatim are on the land. And as soon as the Asar Shvatim were gone, you stopped off Yovel. As soon as Yovel stopped, Midoraisa Shemitah stopped. So even Bizman HaBayis in the Bayesheni, you still had what? Shemitah D'Rabbanan. Guys, you hear? You hear? Again, one more time. Shemitah is totally be Yovel. Yovel is only noig when the Shvatim are on their various chalakim. When the 10 Shvatim were brought into the north were taken off, that ended Yovel. Therefore, if you hold that Shemitah is totally in Yovel, Shemitah also ended. So therefore, it's the base of was around. So even then, Shemitah was what? Was the Rabbanon, and therefore Hill was Metakin principle. Rashi is the Akasha, right? Hill made the Takanas alive during the bias. So how can you tell me Shemitah is the Rises, the Rabbanon, it's the Raisa? And the answer is he holds his opinion that would be a very.
What? Yovel was totally invested, no?
What do you mean?
When there's a Bezdin around, when there was the Bezdin around, Yovel was around.
No, I don't know. No, I don't know. Again, Yovel, you might be right in one, but it ended for you can have the biggest. You had Bezdin Agadol. You had Bezdin Agadol with the 10 Shvatim on the way. You still had Bezdin Agadol, and still Yovel wasn't like. No, that's a given. I mean, what I told you is that's dogma.
I mean, Yovel only like 5.
Yeah, wasn't that many Yovels, right? There wasn't that many Yovels.
50 years and it had maybe 4.
First, Yeshua had to capture the land.
For that, what was the first year? Yeshua had the first year.
Right? No, I'm saying again, there are other opinions. There are other opinions. Okay, let's go weiter. Okay, so guys, we have Mahalach. Let's go. I'm losing train of thought. So we have Mahalach over here. The principle was to overcome what? Shemitah, that is the Rabbanon. But if Shemitah is the Oraisa, it would not be able to work. That's the teretz of what? That's the teretz of Abaya. Amid Beis. The Takrin Rabbanon, the Hashmatas Zeichel Shvius. The whole reason that the reason you do it is that we shouldn't forget there's such a thing called Shvius. So Tishkach Teresh Shvius, Rashi says you shouldn't forget it. Right. V'ra Hillel shenimnu ha'amei lahalvay says there. Omar v'hiskim pruzbul. Good. Now, so let's go. Let's do the opposite, guys. So if it's the Oraisa, is it Mishamit? No. So what did Hillel do? What did he do? Midoraisa is not Mishamit. And Hillel then goes ahead and says what? He goes ahead and says, well, it's Mishamit, and therefore I know how to go make a principle. In other words, if there's no problem, why fix it? If Midoraisa, it's not Mishamit, right? So why fix it? Says the Gemara Akasha. Fred the Gemara Akasha. Umi kemidi the Midoraisa loy Mishamta Shvius. Midoraisa Shvius is not Mishamit. Right, it's not mishamet to chayv because it's only the Rabbanon, right? V'tikin Rabbanon to tishamet, and the Rabbanon were mitaking that it is. What's your teretz, guys? Forget Hillel for a second. Forget Hillel. You're telling me when Shemitah is the Raisa, there's no hashmatas ksafim, meaning the chayv is still in place. If it's the Raisa. If Shemitah is not the Raisa, right? It's off. If Shemitah is the Rabbanon, it's on. How can they do that? How can they do that? It says Rashi, V'omer Rabbana to tishamet v'nimsa haloiva gazlin al pihem. The loiva then what is literally what stealing from the malva, because really the malva should be able to collect this chayiv by you going ahead and instituting this right now. It's very very meduyik. He's saying that it's a lav, guys. Right now, it's meduyik. You hear? It's a lav. He's stealing, right? We're saying he's stealing because he really has to pay back. He's stealing by not paying back. Good. Now, we have a halacha. Do you blow shofar on Shabbos? Do you blow right? No, lulav on Shabbos. Okay. It's the raisa. So what's the famous teretz? The chachamim have the koyach to mevatel and asay b'sheva al taseh. Good. Sit back and don't do. Sit back. Shema, you can go to a bucky to learn and you'll carry it out. But I'm it's the raisa, sheva al taisa. But that's only by mitzvahs asay, like sukkah, like lulav, like I said sukkah, but I meant lulav, like shayfa, right? By a lav, they don't have that koyach. By a lav, they don't have the koyach. Yeah. So Fred the Gemara, Rashi's meduyik ad ma'od. What are you going to tell me? Sheva Taisa, sit back and don't pay. You're stealing. If you're stealing, it's a lav. They don't have that power. Are you with me, guys? Good, great. Continues the Gemara. Umika, let's see inside. Umika midi midaraisa loy mishamta shvius. Particularly one of the shamta that he could steal from him. And again, I'm reading between the lines. It's a lav. Amar Abaya sheval taisehu. Now, I just told you it's a lav, right? So look at Rashi now, guys. Beautiful. Sheval tasi v'haloy v'hazeh shevu bato ve'ena oisa hamitzvah lefroyas chayvay. In other words, it's not that he's stealing; he's just not doing the mitzvah of paying back. That's Heshnes and Gezela. It's not a lav; it's an asay. Rashi beautifully manipulated the kasha of the. You hear what Rashi said? Yankel, yeah. He goes from one thing to the other thing. Why do you switch? To steal is a lav. Shavat Hatzi doesn't work. So what's the answer? He's not stealing. He's not even kaya mitzvah piyas chayv. Piyas bal chayv is a mitzvah. It's not gezela. Once it's an asay, then shavat hasay. It's no different than shayfa, no different than lulav. Rashi, beautiful guys. Very good. Okay, so therefore shavat hasay. They have the ability. So don't go back and pay, and you're good. Rava Amma. Okay, now that was a bias teretz. Now a bias teretz was only according to who? Rabbi, who holds Shemitah B'zman Hazeh is what is the Rabbanon. Good. Rava Amar Hefker what? Because how do the Chacham? How do you have it? How can it go ahead? What? No, they were Oikar Dovim in Torah. No, that's only if it's the Rabbanon. This is the Raisa. That's no. Shreifim lived the Raisa, but Sheval Taisa. Yeah. So we said the Gemara said it. Right? Shvius is mishamet midaraisa. It takes it off, and the Rabbanon and he'll talking that it should not be. No. Watch. No. It's not the opposite. Listen. What you're saying. Midaraisa, it's gone. Sheval Taisa, you don't recreate it. Here the Sheval Taisa is recreating it. You got right. You mixed up. You understand? Good. Now, so this was only according to who? According to Rabbi, right? Okay. Did we meet the din of Hefka Bez and Hefka, guys? Guys, let's wake up. Hefka Bez and Hefka, we've had it throughout, right? Called the Mekadesh, Adaitu the Rabban Mekadesh, right? The Kaima Kesef, they made the Kesef, they took it away from him, right? They mafkud, yeah? If the Chacham have that koyach, then afilu Shvius is the Raisa, they can go ahead and be Mishanet. Right? Why? They could take it away from the Loiva and give it to the Malva. They could take it away from the Loiva and give it to the Malva. Shvius, the Shemitah does what? It takes off the Chayiv. They can be mafka the money and give it what? To the Malva. That's Rava's teretz. Rava says, Hefker Bez and Hefker, using the Metzias of Hefker Bez and Hefker. Don't have Yitzchak Minayin Hefker Bez and Hefker. How do you know that Bez? Then we had this in Yavamis and Shkolim Shnemar. Okay, they're doing tshuva. They're coming back from Bavel. That's like Gdaila. and Ezra's got them all together, and he's going to be maxing them all b'tshuva. All the rechush should be yachram, doomed, meaning they can't have anything. Why? Because we took it away from them. And they're going to be separate from the Galagoyla. So you see that what? That Bezdin has the power to take away. Bezdin has the power to take away. Look at Rashi for a second. Rav Amma, guys. Lo'ilam bein l'rabbanan de pligi ad Rabbi. V'amashrias l'shmatas malva b'zman said the Raisa. V'tikin Hillel the light is shamet, and Hillel is b'takin light is shamet. Or bein l'Rabbi the lav the Raisa. So Rav is saying a bigger chiddush than Abaya. Rav is saying I feel if you're going to say shmitas the Raisa, they had that koyach, and therefore Rabbi Yomi, you see, b'zman said his opinion is the Raisa again. Not so pasha, guys. So there are two drachim, guys. One more way to explain it. Rabbi Laza oimeh mehacha. It says Ela hanachales ashenichalu. Elazar Akayin Yeshua Binun v'Rashi Avos. They're going ahead and they're dividing up Eretz Yisrael. And now it should say Rashi Hamatos. Why does it say Rashi Avos? The Chima Inyan Rashim Eitzel Avos. Loim l'chama Avos manchilim es b'neihem. Just like Avos manchilim, they go ahead and bequeath to their sons. Kol ma sheyirtzu, af Rashim manchilim am kol ma sheyirtzu. So they have a different pasuk. The Yamsha Shlomo says beautifully that the second pasuk is better than the first. The first pasuk just said that whatever they can take it away. It doesn't say they can give it to somebody else. They can be mafkid. The second pasuk is saying not only can they take it away from you, they can give it to somebody else. Okay, so we have So let's just chaz riba. We have how does this work? Bisman Azeh. If you have how can the chachamim be yoika davim in Torah? So we say about shvius the rabbanon. It's the rabbanon memelavat. Since the rabbanon really it's mishamit, and really but it's not mishamit, and therefore he can go ahead and say it's not mishamit, it's only the rabbanon. Fred the Gemara Kasha, where do they? How's that possible? Really, you have to pay. Really, you have to pay off the chayiv. And he says, "But you don't have to pay off the chayiv. Where did you get the chayiv from? According to Abai, you got the chayiv from Sheval Tasa. According to Rabbi, you got the chayiv hefker best and hefker. Okay, those are the two drachim. How to explain the Gemara? Iboilu. We have a following question. He hiskin hill beprusbo lidari hu detikin was only for his generation. Aidilm lidari almanami tikin. Guys, nafkamina will be the following. Listen to that side. I'll give you a little foreshadow. If he was metakin for his generation, means if future generation sees that the reason is no longer there, then they could be mevatel it. According to some Rishonim. So the reason is that what? People weren't lending money. So let's say future generations would lend money, then they could do away with it, because they were only metakin it for their generation. But if he was metakin it l'dairei dairis, we know a bezdin is not bigger b'chacham b'minyan. They can't go ahead and take it off. They can't. They push it can't. Why? Bisman Azeh, guys. Why do we have 2 days of gullus? I mean, you can't take it off, right? You can't. We know exactly when Yontif is. You can't take it off. So that's the nafkamina over here. If Hill is metakin only for his generation and future generations, what that time won't apply, so they were able to mevatel it. But if you say he was metakin after his generation and what for future generations, then not. Says the Gemara inside. Iboilu. He is can Hill prosper the dari who the ticket. I don't the dari dalma ticket. But my nafkamina live too late. If the reason for not lending is no longer there, they can be mevatel. So there's many pshat chachma. Rambam in Pirush Mishnayos and Idias. Rambam says that chachma means that the second Rosh Hashiva was bigger than the first. And minyan, he has more people that agree with his psak than previously. That's the chachma minyan. What's the din? Tashma, Dama Shmuel, like Kasvina and Puzbul. They only wrote a Puzbul. Which person can write a Puzbul? Ella ibe dina de surah, ibe dina de nardoi. Only these two great surah was where Rav was, and nardoi is where Shmuel was, and only them, these bezdin that have the power of hefker, bezdin hefker, right? They could go ahead and do it. Right? And if they was for future generations as well, the Shar Beidin and Nami Lichtavu. In other Beidin also they should be able to write. There's no Dilma, Kitik and Hillel Ladari Alma. Mitaka maybe only for his generation. However, the future generations had to be going Beidina Didei with Rav Ami Ravasi. Like the Bezdin at the time was Rav Ami Ravasi, with the Bati Din of Rav and Shmuel. They were strong enough and powerful enough to take away the money. But some regular Bezdin, they wouldn't be able to write up Pusbal. So you want to place it to Shiloh. Tashma will try again. Dama Shmuel, Ha Pusbala El Boina de Dainihu. A Pusbal is El Boina, it's the embarrassment of Dayanim. Dayanim going ahead and taking away from one, giving to the other, like taking shtaris, collecting shtaris. It's not, it seems like a little like, being tough guys, like mafiosos, right? So, Aisha Chayil, if I would gain the strength, Avtalinu says I would be a matlet. Says the Gemara, Avatline, how could he possibly be matlet? But ain't Bezdin Yachal Avatal Divrei Bezdin Chaverim Ken Gadol Men Uchachal Minyan. So it must be that that Hillel was only talking of his dog, right? In other words, Shmuel's saying, had I had the power, I'll be mavatal it, right? So he's saying that Einachinami, he'd be mavatal it, and so it must be that that it was only for Hillel was only for his dog. Doesn't know Hachi Kamar. If I could taka gain the strength to be bigger than Hillel, meaning it's taka for all generations. And if I was big enough, the chacham with a minion, then Hillel, I'd be mavatal it. Okay, that's the lashon of Shmuel. Rav Nachman Amar, I kaimena, I'll be Mekayim first of all. It's a wonderful thing. It is Mekayim. What are you talking about? So Hachi Kamar. Ema ba Milsa, right? I would go ahead and set up a Bezdin, and I would metakin stam that what? The afagav deloy kosav ki kosav dami. That even if you wouldn't write it, it's if it's written. It's if look at Rashi. Ema ba Milsa, Oishev Bezdin, the askin the stam malvin, stam borrowers, not lenders, yiyu kimisurin shtaras in the Bezdin. It's if the shtaras are given over to Bezdin. See Rashi l'shitasa guys, that Rashi holds that principle is ma'aseh shtaras l'Bezdin, right? And beautiful. So in other words, this is people who don't write a principle. This is a heta. This is the heta. Iboilahu. Hayal boina lishna de chutzpahu or lishna de nichusahu. This when Shmuel said that it's el boina for Bezdin, meaning it's a chutzpah of Bezdin, or it's what. It's a nichusla Bezdin. It's to make it easier on Bezdin. In other words, I think Bezdin's going to have to busy Shemitah collecting shtaris, and they should make it easier. I'll give you mavatlet. So in other words, I'm in mavatlet. It doesn't help, and therefore, Pashmad Omar Ula says, Aluva when describing the Cheda Egel guys, the Gemara in Shabbos, Aluva Kalish is insa bekerev chupasa. With the comparison to us by Matan Torah, but we're still there, and we did the Ma'aseh Egel. So we're still in the chuppah, and we were unfaithful to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and it's called aluva. So it's a raya that it's a chutzpah rather than nichusa. Rav Mori Berei Bera de Bashmuel, my kra, right? Where's the pasuk that we sinned? Acha melech b'mesibai nerdi nasan reichai. So it gave its reich away, meaning it left. Right? Says the Gemara. Amar Rava dain chivivusahu kabon dechsiv nasam v'loikasiv esriach. It says nasam, but it doesn't say esriach that we soured. Tanabanan. And they'll love him ve'ein olvim. Those who are embarrassed, ve'ein olvim, but they don't embarrass back. Shomim cherpasan. They listen to their cherpa, their embarrassment. They meshivin. Oisim mi'avav smechem b'yisurim aleihem b'yisurim aleim akasav oimer v'avav k'shteis hashemesh b'gvurasai. Right, and his loved ones are like the shemesh b'gvurasai. There's a Gemara in Daf Samech in Chulin describes the very famous Ma'aseh from Bereishis, the Shnei Oris Hagadolim state, right, that the moon complained, the Yesh l'Shnei Malachim Mishtam b'Keserecha, it's not possible 2 kings to rule at once, and the shemesh listened to this, he didn't say anything, and that was his reward, and that's why Kishemesh b'gvurasai, the comparison is Kishemesh b'gvurasai. Thank you everyone for listening.